Hello and welcome back to my little series about all the different characters from Zombicide Fantasy. Today we're going to talk about Baldric, the caster from the expansion Zombicide Black Plague, and his role in the party is of course the spellcaster. But unlike most of the other casters, in his body slot he has a sword instead of, as you can see here, a spell. Which is quite interesting because that makes him so that he can actually easier dual wield spells compared to many of the other casters, and still have a way to defend himself when they got close. But of course the sword isn't anything special, it's just one of the most basic weapons you can find. But I think it fits really well because, of course, as people probably have noticed, he is pretty much inspired by Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. His abilities are spellcaster. And that skill is basically giving him a free enchantment or spellcaster action, meaning every single turn he can either cast an extra spell or enchantment, making him really versatile, especially when he gets up in the higher levels, making him one of the more interesting caster characters. I won't say he's the best but he can definitely be a very good addition to a party. Especially if when you come to the orange level, where either you can take one free magic action, meaning you can just cast one more spells per turn, or you can take spellbook, meaning that every spell you place up here in your backpack, you don't need to swap around as you normally do. They will be like they are in your hand. So by giving him different spells that can be used for different point in time, you can just cycle through them and be like, oh, we need a healing spell, and he can have instant access to it. Of course, enchantment can only be used once per turn, but if he has more enchantment, he can use them all. Second thing we need to talk about is his red skills, where he gets one extra die to magic, just making it easier for you to hit your enemies, the zombies, because you're rolling more dice. One free combat action, which actually synergizes with his body slot sword, that he can actually swing it in melee, which again, +1 dice roll to melee, which is basically making him able to fight even more if you're unlucky not to find enough spells. I actually did a little bit calculation, misspeak. +1 die to magic is actually a little more important to explain. But that basically means that if you like rolling a 4, instead of a 4 you will basically say +1 to it. So like I said, if you roll 4 you have to +1 to that, so it becoming a 5, making it easier to hit. So that part was actually correct. And yeah, this is his model, where you can see he's basically holding his sword and staff in his hand and all his equipment basically. Personally, he is not my favorite mage in the game, but I actually really like how versatile he can be because of that body slot. Like I said, he's one of the ones who have the easiest to be able to dual wield spells and still be able to be a little bit of use in melee. Of course, you don't want him in melee, but if it happens, it happens. So that was my little talk about Baldric. I hope you enjoy and have a nice day.